I've been dealing with the subject of sound design for a long time and thought it was time for a video. Or rather, several videos. This will be the first part and is supposed to be a series, but I don't know how many episodes are still to come. When it comes to sound design, the rhythm has some limitations, therefore, it may not be the first choice, but with Mark II, the rhythm can resample itself and it brings completely new possibilities. Today, I want to start with drones, or being so real drones than rather not, more like drone like sounds. Not real drones, from a synthesizer, more kind of it. Okay, let's go. In this video we use Trig slides, so I want to explain it at the start. So we just start to make some Trig slides or explain the Trig slides. So for this case I've used a simple dual VCO like this in a very long decay, so we can set up a Trig here, and we want to make kind of slide at this point. And to make it very good hearable, I detune it by 1 octave, or say 2 octaves, it's better. So you get this sounding. To get this usable Trig slides, you go to the slide menu and you see there's the parameter slide. You see that the trigs are highlighted, but the p-logs are not. So you have to remember where they are. So we start with the p-log. So at the moment it sounds like this. So you hear that it here comes to the 2 octaves higher sound, and it sounds down to the original sound. So you got a slide from 2 octaves higher to the normal settings, and you get the same here in the other direction when you get a parameter slide on this Trig. Okay, that are Trig slides. So now we go to the sound design part. I shortened the sound a little bit so we can just go to the delay, and in this case we use for the sound designing much of the delay. So we got now simple delay in this case, and if we go to the delay we can shorten the timing very short so that we get a capsule strong sounding element. Widen it a little bit, sounds more cooler, I think. So, but if we now start to play with the feedback, we can go in a new way. But if you take it too high, it gets a kind of overload and your boxes or ears are blasting. So be sure that you don't go over 100. So we now start to handle this feedback with the LFO on the FX page. So make it a little bit slower and set up the feedback always a little bit high so that we get feedbackish sound. But be careful also that you don't go over 100 even with the LFO. So we got some kind of rising feedback sound, which we can work furthermore. So let's rise up this step sequencer so that we get more time to record this feedback going. So I have to go to the track back and kill all the other steps. Even more feedback. So this we can work with. And we go to the track and set one step more. And a little bit less feedback. You even can play with different waves at this point. So now we can go to the filter of the delay and can tweak the sounding a little bit more in the direction we want. In this case, we want to get a little bit more buzzy sound. Not so much. So and at this point we can set some stats with the high pass filter, so we get a bit more flow on this. So we get here, go to page 1 and set this here for the first step, a little bit higher, and this case, and then we go. You can even play at this point with the LFO rate or the speed amount, and go to the slide steps and push every slide on, and so we see now and this game we can go further and set even more settings here. Go there, a little bit feedback, up and there, a little bit slower at this time, more depth. And here even more funny stuff at this kind, and get here a little bit. So let's look it up. We will need also, oh, one page I missed here. Setting up a little bit the reverb, so we got more space at this point, and we have a nice texture we can record. So we get here and plus arm this. Oh, this wasn't the one I want, so discard. So I just want to arm this, but the threshold is too low, I see. So it's got armed, and if we start to play, we get a timed recording. This would be a nice one, but I think we have enough stuff to work with further on. So we trim this part to a point where we think that is a nice one. So let's use another track and keep safe that we are no longer send anything to the delay, and also put this out so we don't get any unwanted feedback. So we use this track for pre-hearing. This sounds very fine for me. So we trim it a little bit so we don't get this even more, or this great sample. So this would be enough. So here you get everything in mono when you record with the rhythm. So that's a point we have to deal with. But let's go on. Save this, record 3. It's still saving, and we put it on this track so that we have enough space. So we got now this sample, and we lower down the sound of the bass tom. We won't need it at this point, and we still hear this sample as we know it. So to keep them interesting, we set the loop on and start to bring some steps and p-logs at this point. So let's start with this point here at here, this sounding, or maybe this is very buzzy. With bass it starts always nicer. And we get here and move the start to this point and the end maybe in this direction, so a little bit slower, and get here. If you come to this point, you got always these clicks if you restart the sample at this point. Maybe not so the sound you want, but maybe it is. So we got here this in reverse, and here we can bring this start to this point. Or maybe this is very hard drive, so we get it more in this way. So keep in mind which sets, which tricks you have marked, so you can go to the slide point, bring it here. This is the only one that's marked enough. So it's the can, and let's hear it. And now you can go there and tweak it a little bit. So this is a little bit far, so when it slides it is very different. So we can set up the start point a little bit here. To get it a little bit less clicky, we can add some reverb at this point. A little bit overdrive. So at this point you can start to use the LFO for whatever you want. You can use the random part to set it to the bit crusher to make it even more noisy at this point. Set it this, not so fast. And you can also start to control this sound with the filter. And of course you can use the LFO for the filter frequency. So at this point it's very important, if Elektron hear this, please add the second LFO, we need it very much. So, and that is idea for drones with the rhythm. I hope you enjoyed. This was the last episode for this year, but goes next year it further. I wish you all happy holidays and a good start into the new year. As always, if you like the video, leave a like there. If you want more videos, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And ideas and suggestions, what you like, put in the comments. Stay safe and have a good night.